The president argued just by winning, Republicans can change their political fortunes and maybe pull out some unexpected victories, hang on to the House, hang on to the Senate, and maybe add to those numbers, particularly in the Senate. We shall see. The Kavanaugh fury that it created among Republicans who felt that the judge was treated poorly, now a Supreme Court justice, is going to resonate in November, 4 weeks from today, as a matter of fact. Our next guest hopes to be a beneficiary of all of that, and in New Jersey, no less. He is the Republican candidate who's taking on the incumbent Democrat, Bob Menendez. But here's the thing in this bluest of blue states. Normally, the Democratic candidate is up by double digits, and little more than a few weeks ago, Bob Menendez was. Right now, it could be considered a toss-up, depending on the poll, anywhere from 5 to 7 points. The man who is leading that charge for the Republicans joins us right now, Bob Eugen. Mr. Eugen, very good to have you.
Neil, great to be with you.
All right. We should first preface here, as we have repeatedly, we put calls out to Senator Menendez multiple times. He has yet to reply. I don't take it personally. At first, I thought it was my deodorant, but I think I'm fine. But we'll see what happens, because many times they do appear, and hope springs eternal. But, Mr. Eugen, back to you, and you're a former top-notch executive over at Celgene. You financed a lot of your race. You poured a good deal of money into this, raised a good deal of money into this. In fact, more money than Senator Menendez. And whatever you're doing seems to be working. But is it coming, you think, too soon? Do you fear that you're peaking too soon with 4 weeks to go? The Kavanaugh stuff dies down, and then boom.
Now, Neil, I've done over 400 campaign events already with 28 days to go. The people of New Jersey know they can do so much better. They're embarrassed and been so underserved. So the momentum is palpable. The race is, in everything we see, is a dead heat, and we're going to keep pushing right till November 6th. People of New Jersey deserve better, and they're going to get better.
All right. Now, you're probably aware of the Nikki Haley situation today, sir, in which she said she's stepping down at the end of the year. Your opponent described it this way, and I quote, this is an announcement from Senator Menendez's offices. Today's announcement that Ambassador Haley is resigning is yet another sign of the Trump administration's chaotic foreign policy and a setback from promoting American values and priorities. I'm deeply concerned about the leadership vacuum she leaves and the national security impact of her departure at this time of continued disarray for this administration. What do you think of that?
It's just sort of quite ridiculous. Here's a guy who has been in chaos his entire term here, running to stay one step ahead of the law, and he's worried about somebody else's chaos. First of all, it seems to me that she spoke to the president 6 months ago, and she's staying till the end of the year. She's done a spectacular job. She's been a great public servant, and I hope she comes back into public service again near in the future. But this seems to be incredibly well handled.
All right. Much has been said about how the Kavanaugh situation was handled, and that it's going to lead to women voters in general almost monolithically going against any Republican candidate, yourself included. What do you think of that?
Well, you know, I think not. I think that people look at the issue and they realize the whole process was a disgrace, embarrassing for Democrats, embarrassing for Republicans. Hopefully this is the low point of politics and we can put this behind us. And remember, I called for an FBI investigation, one of the first Republicans to call for one, and I continue to call for the FBI report to be released so that when there's no corroboration that's justified, the FBI does great work and we should support them. And so I think we're going to be very good, because the issues we're talking about resonate with all New Jerseyans, all race, all religion. Everyone in New Jersey knows they've been so underserved. We're 50 out of 50. We get the least back from Washington. And we have a senator who only bipartisan act he's been involved in is getting the Senate Ethics Committee to say that he violated federal law, abused the power of his office, disgraced the Senate. The people of New Jersey are good people. They deserve so much better. I'm down in South Jersey today, and there's so many good things happening, but the people of Jersey deserve so much better.
All right. Now, the governor of New Jersey, who has succeeded Chris Christie, Phil Murphy's a Democrat, came steeped in Wall Street, Goldman Sachs, a lot of money earned from that. He says that the people of New Jersey need a break, and overwhelmingly support his move to hike taxes on rich folks like yourself and corporate taxes as well. As a senator, there's only so much you can do on those state moves. But how do you feel about those efforts when polls do bear the governor out, that at least for those average New Jersey voters, he has their support, not so much the ones who he's targeting for tax hikes, but those voters who support the moves?
Well, Neil, I don't think that's reflective of really the underlying sentiment in New Jersey. And I'm out there 7 days a week with people all across the state. That's not the reality. New Jersey is becoming so unaffordable. Families can't stay together, with grandparents leaving the state. 18 to 34-year-olds out migrating at the fastest rate in the country. The state is overtaxed, is unaffordable. And I have to tell you, when I'm elected, I'm not going to worry about whether it's a city, a state, a federal issue, a county issue. There's only two positions, the two senators and the governor, that every New Jerseyan gets to vote on. I'm going to speak out on every issue, shine the light of day on all issues. And the number one issue for all New Jerseyans is the unaffordability of the state.
So you would be against
put an
those
end to
tax
it.
hikes on the rich. You would be against what he wants in the 2% hike in corporate taxes.
Listen, I do believe we should have a progressive tax situation, but when you go too far and upper-income people leaving the state with their capital, and we're losing the millennials, and how are you going to create the jobs of the future if you don't have the capital and the young people have the aptitude to create and integrate information technology into the economy today? That's where the jobs of the future come from, and New Jersey's on a bad path, and we've got to reverse it.
You know, it is interesting that 4 weeks to go, and there was one, I believe, a Star Ledger poll, I hope I have it right, the source right, that said 1 in 5 Hispanics in the state aren't sure who to support and have not committed themselves to Bob Menendez. Were you surprised?
Yeah. No. Listen, I grew up in Hudson County, in Union City, and it's a great county with great people. I was there at the Hispanic Heritage Month parade in North Bergen, Guttenberg, West New York, and Union City on Sunday. The response was tremendous. I think all people in New Jersey recognize we're a great state, diverse, but we share the same interests. We want safe communities, good education system. We want economic opportunity. And I have to tell you, all New Jerseyans want those same things. And Neil, I have to tell you, the deregulatory reforms that are underway have really unleashed the economy. I go all across the state. I think the economy is doing so well generally. Obviously, New Jersey's is tough because of the affordability issues, but we've got to contain this momentum, and hopefully interest rates hikes will not be too premature or too aggressive and derail what is an incredibly strong economy. We need to get New Jersey on that train because we're not benefiting as much as other states are.
Have you been in contact with the president? Do you want him to campaign for you in New Jersey?
You know, Neil, this is about New Jersey. This is Bob Menendez versus Bob Hugin. People in New Jersey deserve better. I want people to come and support me who are going to talk about the issues that are important to the people of New Jersey. That's what I'm focused on every day. I will not fill out any special interest questionnaires. My wife and I are financing the campaign mostly ourselves.
You don't want the president to come. I mean, it's a very blue state. He might do. It's not your fault. It's not his fault. But that's not a state that he came close to winning.
Yeah, we're keeping this focused on New Jersey. Bob Menendez versus Bob Hugin.
Okay. Stepping back and the mood of the electorate here, let's say you do get elected to the Senate. Do you support some of the economic policies the president's pursued, that it's getting tough on trade? It's yielded results with getting agreements with Canada and certainly with Mexico, the European Union. He has made progress there. He's scaring some folks about the China situation, whether a lot of your voters, or those you want to be your voters, will be adversely affected this holiday season. But would you support a lot of those moves?
Listen, a lot of the economic initiatives are very positive. Deregulation has been very important to unleash the economy. We were 8 years always looking over our shoulder of taking risk and being penalized for taking risk and doing the things to create jobs. So lots of things have to be continued. Now, I do have to tell you that the cap on $10,000 on state and local tax deductions was bad for New Jersey, because that's going to really put a pinch on the middle class property values in terms of sharing more of the real estate burden, the real estate tax burden on the middle class. So we've got to do something to alleviate that over time. But you remember, Neil, when TPP was up, I was in the Roosevelt room with President Obama explaining why we thought that was a bad deal, and we helped stop that in the life sciences industry because it was bad for American consumers. It was bad for American intellectual property. So we've been engaged on economic issues. I've been engaged on economic issues for a long time. Fair trade is important. Free trade helps the consumer, helps the economy, helps job creation. Tariffs are not a good idea. They're bad for the economy, bad for the consumer, bad for job creation. But if they're a negotiating ploy, then we've got to give the president time. And so it looks like what happened with Canada and Mexico, it worked. So we've got to make sure we support things that will be helpful for job creation, the economy in New Jersey.
Do you think the situation with Justice Kavanaugh has united the Republican Party, at least that statist wing, or the establishment wing, for lack of a better term, the Bush wing, if you will, versus, you know, the Donald Trump loyalists, that it has brought everyone together in the party.
I have to tell you, Neil, I really hope it brings all Americans together, because I don't think you're a Republican or Democrat. You can be anything but embarrassed that two people's lives were really exploited for political gain and disadvantage. So I hope this is the low point in politics.
Mr. Ugent, thank you very, very much. 4 weeks to go. I know you'll be busy. We appreciate it, sir.